Because of being unaware of gender role socialization, it affects all families regarding on the gender structure of the family, socioeconomic status, culture, and the age range of the children. Gender discrimination against women has been going on to this world for about 3,000 to 5,000 years. In today's time, the awareness for spreading gender equality and erasing misogyny have never been stronger. Even so, some people who grew up in the time where misogyny was blatantly active everywhere and were able to experience it and carried that characteristic within them into their children that were born in this era. This causes a psychological problem for young women in today's time because some who are victim of misogyny may take belief in what their parents are saying to them in terms of their future career as a woman. Gender discrimination is a very serious topic that people should take action on, trying to remove this nonsense belief that women cannot do what men can't do. The objectives for this case study are as follows. First is to find out the root cause of gender discrimination, specifically in misogyny in some families. Next is to understand the reason on why misogyny and gender discrimination in general is bad for the society. Last one, make an advocacy campaign in the end about gender discrimination. Gender differences that exist in adulthood are partially a result of a person's life experiences in their family. The gender wage gap has been the main difference that economists have looked at. Adult females earn much less money than their male counterparts do, both in industrialized and developing nations. Discrimination at work is one explanation, but a portion of the divide can also be attributed to the differences between men and women in terms of traits like career choice and decision to stay in the workforce. Are these contrasting traits a result of the inherent distinctions between men and women? Or could they at least be in part of the result of the unequal treatment and distribution of resources within the context of the family? Well, discrimination against young girls has received more attention in poorer countries than in wealthier, affluent nations. However, recent research has revealed that although gender discrimination manifests itself differently in these two contexts, gender inequalities in early childhood inputs also exist in more affluent nations. It has been discovered that important variables like marital stability, family size, and sibling gender, parent labor force participation, and parental involvement vary between developed and developing nations. These inputs have a big role in a child's development upbringing. The fact that one gender has an impact on them shows that gender differences in early life are a result of boys and girls growing up in different environments, even in affluent nations. These observed discrepancies can also be a sign of additional inequalities in how parents treat their sons and daughters.
Isa si Vicky sa mga victim survivor ng violence against women. Sa loob ng 6 na taon, nakaranas daw si Vicky ng pambubugbog, pananakit at nakatanggap ng masasakit na salita mula sa kanyang asawa.
World declared, human rights are women's rights and women's rights are human rights.
Women are not even accepted as human beings. They are treated with injustice and inequality. Women are denied. They are neglected even in the developed countries.
I am from Britain, and I think it is right that I am paid the same as my male counterparts. I think it is right that I should be able to make decisions about my own body.
I will not be lectured about sexism and misogyny by this man. I will not. And the government will not be lectured about sexism and misogyny by this man. Now looking at his watch because apparently a woman's spoken too long.
So I think right now we have the chance to be heard, and that's why we're doing it. We're all doing it because we're asking to try and elicit change.
How do we use this moment to elevate what is happening instead of continually victimize ourselves?
It's our responsibility to make this world a better place. Yes, we play sports. Yes, we play soccer. Yes, we're female athletes, but we're so much more than that.
The women's movement of this world has mellowed. Our issues and our conversation has become issues for men. I get angry when I think about it. No woman should sit down and allow a man to speak about her reproductive rights. Until Until you've gone through that process. I've come from Africa to tell you you don't qualify.
Analysis and evaluation of primary and secondary data, results and discussion. Many women have experienced gender prejudice, whether at home or in society. They have been abused because men have taken use of their physical capabilities and dominance, and males have taken advantage of their physical and mental superiority. Men's disproportionate authority has resulted in misogyny, which has resulted in physical abuse of women, mostly in the household. According to the video, many incidents of physical assault against women occurred in their own houses. It happened between them and family members, which demonstrate how males have exploited women's ability and made them less dominant inside their own households.
Women have suffered tremendous discrimination throughout history, from a lack of legal protections and limited independence from their husbands, to being assumed to be less intelligent than males. Women have historically been seen to be less than fully human in many countries. In terms of recognizing and defending the humanity and human rights of women, however, because of their capacity for childbearing, women will always vary fundamentally from men. Current political discussions on abortion and contraception, which some have referred to as war on women, the right to vote and how women were restricted or prevented from voting is one of the most important aspects because to the suffrage and suffragette movements, certainly one of the best known aspects of gender discrimination. A fundamental right is the ability to participate in the selection of the government that will represent your interests. Given that the government has the authority to make decisions that have an impact on citizens' daily lives, it is crucial that those impacted have a say in who makes such decisions. Women were granted the right to vote far later than men, and this was frequently only after many arduous battles. While the suffragettes were more aggressive in their approach, the suffrage movement tried to obtain equality for women through peaceful and legal means such as petitions.
Misogyny is defined as hatred of women. Behaviors considered misogynistic are those that involve the oppression of women evidenced by acts of denigration and intimidation by men toward men. By laws and stalkers, they have determined that misogyny is based on a continuum from mild to severe, wherein mild is manifested in questions of doubt and unprovoked suspicions of men about women, to severe, which includes violent acts against women. The result of misogyny is in the subjugation of women, wherein women are controlled by men, either by the fear that men have of women, or by the desires men project onto women of how they want them to be. Misogyny has existed throughout the Western history, extending from biblical times, as recorded in the book of Genesis, up through modern times, as seen and heard in today's pornography and music. In 1974, Dworkin believed that the oppression of women is the result of sexism and misogyny, which can be traced back to the beginning of record history. Furthermore, Dworkin believes that sexism and misogyny are passed down from generation to generation in the form of male dominance. So there are types of misogyny in the family. The first is hostile, which refers to the beliefs and behaviors that are openly hostile towards a group of people on their sex or gender. Misogyny, or the hatred of women, is an example of hostile. Hostile sexism is dangerous. According to 2019 research, it is a risk factor for sexual harassment and gender-based violence. The second one is benevolent sexism. It applies some positive traits to women and femininity. It still frames one sex or gender as weaker than the other. These ideas that can lead to policies and behaviors that limit a person's agency or the ability of someone to make their own choices for them. For example, the 2020 study found that men who endorsed benevolent sexism were more likely to support policies that limit the freedoms of pregnant women. Benevolent sexism also undermines girls' confidence in themselves and their abilities. The third is ambivalent, which is a combination of benevolent and hostile. People who engage in an ambivalent sexism may vary between seeing women as good, pure, and innocent, and seeing them as manipulative or deceitful, depending on the situation. Example of this is differentiating between good women and bad women, based on how they dress. The fourth one is institutional sexism. When policies, procedures, attitudes, or laws create or reinforce sexism, this is institutional sexism. This institutional sexism is widespread. It can be hostile, benevolent, or ambivalent. One of the clearest indicators is the lack of gender diversity among political leaders and business executives. The fifth one is interpersonal sexism. This manifests during interactions with others. It can occur in the workplace, within relationships among family members, and interactions with strangers. An example of this is telling someone to be more ladylike, making inappropriate comments about someone's appearance. The last one is internalized sexism. It refers to being the sexist belief that a person has about themselves. Usually, a person adopts these beliefs involuntarily as a result of exposure to sexist behavior or the opinions of others. Research suggests that the lower the rate of women working in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics may be due to internalized sexism. Studies have shown that sexist stereotypes affect academic performance, as many believe that the boys are better than girls at math, science. This could lack of confidence.
Viewpoints of other discipline. So for the church does not accept gender discrimination, stating that women must be liberated from living on the margins of society or else they will remain dependent on males. The Catholic Church acknowledges women empowerment in order for them to see themselves as valuable human beings in God's eyes and to be free of becoming role players in the kingdom of God, demanding respect and equal opportunity within the church and society at large. And for the Islam, according to Islam, women have a position of dignity and respect with clearly specified rights and duties. The Quran provides legal protection for women in the fields of marriage, divorce, and inheritance, which are thought to be a significant improvement over the condition of women in pre-Islamic history. The outcome of the study reveals that social prejudice occurs in male-dominated culture. Women are conscious of prejudice both at home and in society. They perceive more discrimination at the society level than at the household level. The study uncovered many forms of discrimination at the household level. Women feel discrimination in a variety of areas including property, education, and mobility.
So our advocacy is we are one, and our motto is together as one, united as one. So what does the action plan aim to achieve? First, its main goal is to have gender equality in the society for both men and women. Its aim is to give knowledge to the society on what are the hardships of each gender so that the society would have knowledge on how each gender thinks, moves, etc. So how will the action plan be implemented? Its main plan is to create a seminar for the society on the issue of gender discrimination, misogyny in the family, to develop further communication and understanding for people in the world. So we are to create a website and a Facebook page to broadcast the live seminar to the public, so everyone is free to join.